then that means you have 100 deltas. Every share that you own equals one delta. So if you had 100 shares, it would equal 100 deltas. And that does not change as long as you have 100 shares. It only changes if you increase the amount of shares you have or decrease the amount of shares you have. It's static. It stays the same into perpetuity until you change the amount of shares. It's never, ever going to stay the same. Delta is dynamic. It's going to change. So what you want to know is what is your risk when you are initiating a trade at a delta level, and then what is your risk throughout the trade? Because it will change. It's going to improve or it's going to worsen. The stock can go in your direction and you can still lose. And you then start thinking the markets are rigged and options suck and you never want to participate or use options again. And that will be to your disservice. Options are amazing, in my opinion, the best way to make monies in these markets. All right, so let's talk about the important components of the options chain. So a number of you know that here at Dorian Trader, we consider the basis of options around three pillars. We believe it's three pillars to the basis of options. The first pillar is understanding the call and the put and what's happening in buys and selling calls and the puts and the rights and obligations of calls and puts. The second pillar is what we're going to be talking about today, and that's the options chain. That's where you actually buy calls and puts. You can kind of execute the trade and understanding if you're in the money, out of the money, and your probabilities. So the option chain is very, very important to the master. And then the third pillar is understanding basic option strategies, because if you understand the basic option strategy, you'll be able to understand all the different exotic things people come up with out there because they're just deviations from the basic option strategies. And when you are learning pillar two, which we're going to be talking about, it's important to start from the kind of beginning. And the beginning is just understanding how the option chain is laid out. When you're looking at an option chain, you're usually going to have dates down the left-hand side. On most option platforms that specialize in option trading, I should say, are going to have dates down the left-hand side. And then down the middle, they're going to have these numbers, as you can see here, going vertically here. The date is going to be attached to those numbers. So in this example, we have March the 20th, 2026. That's 25 days from now. So that's what it's saying. It's going to expire in 25 days, and that's March the 20th. Also on these option chains, you're going to see these W's, and you're going to see Q's, and then you're going to see something that's not going to have one of those, a W or a Q. So the W represents a weekly option. The Q represents a quarterly option. And if it doesn't have anything, that's most likely going to be a monthly option that expires on the third Friday of that month. Before weeklies were around, and even before monthlies were around, there were only quarterlies. That was before my time in trading, but it was only quarterlies. Then there was only monthlies and quarterlies. And so the only way you can trade something was on a monthly basis. It didn't have any type of weeklies. Right now we got some dailies, but we didn't have any weeklies in the past. The third Friday of each month is still the most liquidity in an expiration. Most of the time. It's not 100% of the time anymore, but most of the time you're going to get the strikes that you want on that third Friday of the month. Okay? But the exchanges are changing things. And they're changing things rapidly because they're pushing more of a short-term mentality now. Guys, they give you a lot of strikes in let's just say a 7-day period, give you a lot of options to choose from strike-wise, that they no longer give you that with 30 to 60 days out, or even a lot of times even 15 days out or more. They're giving you less and less strikes to choose from. And that's just pushing people to more of short-term trades. And so unfortunately, that's the reality we're in. If you're not a short-term trader, and even if you're not, you shouldn't want that. You should want the options. You should want more, options, the better. More things you can select from. But that's what's happening. So once you determine if you want to do a weekly or a quarterly or a monthly, and then you'll open it up. Let's just say we're going to do this monthly here. Before we continue with the video, I just want to quickly point out, if you need any additional help, please consider joining our trading club. You can do that by clicking on the link in the description area, and you'll get a 3-month trial for a flat fee of $60. We look forward to seeing you in the trading club. Back to the video. You'll open it up, and then what you're going to see on most option chains that's set up the traditional way is that you're going to see calls to the left. All of these to the left are calls. Everything on the left-hand side. It's separated by these numbers here. And these are the standardized strikes that's on an option chain. Guys, this is strikes that you can choose to buy or sell. On the right-hand side is the put side. And all of these are puts. Okay? So left-hand side, calls, right-hand side, puts, separated by the strikes that you can choose from. When you're looking at an option chain, also, traditional way is that going up on your screen is actually going down on an option chain. So you have 684, 683, 682, and so forth. This is actually going down on an option chain. And then going down on your option chain, or on your screen, I should say, it's going up. You got 684, 685, 686, 687, and so forth. This is going up. This is how the option chain is created. Now, Tasty Trade has put this arrow here. They didn't always have it, but they had this arrow that if it's pointing up, then it's the traditional type of setup that what we just went over. If it's pointing down, then it flips it to going up. It's going up on your screen, is going up on an option chain, going down on your screen is going down on an option chain. But it's really, really confusing and it's going to throw you off. It's going to make things look weird. So in my opinion, if something doesn't look right, always check this arrow here if you're dealing with Tasty Trade and make sure it's pointing up. Okay? Make sure it's pointing up. Now, also on an option chain, you have this line right here. On Tasty Trade, it's this orange, or you might call it brown, line, horizontal line going across the middle of the page here. This is what is considered the at the money line, the ATM. Right? So it's the abbreviation, ATM. It's super important to know where the ATM line is at because at Dorian Trader, we consider it the equilibrium. It's the baseline. Everything is going towards it or away from it. And you should always know where the at the money line is. It should be no ambiguity because it is always where the stock is currently trading at. So the SPX, or excuse me, the SPY is currently moving. It's live, but it's around 684 here. That's right here. This is the at the money line. That's where you start at, you guys, because that's where it's going to determine if something is in the money or out of the money or at the money. You need to know these terms. So on the call side, which is the left-hand side, above the at the money line is what is considered the in the money area, the ITM. Below it is what is considered the out of the money area, the OTM. And on the put side, it's the opposite. You're just flipping everything. This is the out of the money area on the put side, the OTM. And then this is the in the money area on the put side, the ITM. So it's super important to know where you're at on an option chain. Are you at the money area? Are you in the money or are you out of the money? And so this is important because when you learn the first pillar of the basis of options, you learn what is called rights and obligations. And so if you are a buyer of an option, you're going to have a right and you're most likely going to exercise that right. If you're ever going to do it, it's going to be when it's in the money, when your option is in the money. And then you have what is called an obligation. If you're the seller of an option, then you have an obligation to either buy if you on the put side or sell if you're on the call side. And you're going to most likely have to live up to that obligation if something is in the money. So it's important to know that, right? Are we getting close to at the money? Because that means it's going to be going into the money potentially. And then it's important to know what is out of the money. Because if you're out of the money and you're the buyer, you're going to have really poor odds of winning at expiration. And if you're the seller and something's out of the money, you're going to have really high odds of winning when something is out of the money. So it's imperative that you understand where you're at on an option chain. Okay, it's very, very important. Also, what is important on every option chain is to know what ask and bid mean. It's on both sides, right? Call side, left-hand side, put side, right-hand side. Trying to be repetitive here. The ask is where you buy at. And you can see Tasty Trade is put buy here. The sell is where, or the bid is where you sell at, I should say. And Tasty Trade is put sell here. What you want to understand is that you do not want to sell on the bid or buy on the ask if you can avoid doing that. It's harder to do with the SPY, what we're demonstrating on, because it's usually really, really tight. Sometimes it's, or a lot of times it's 1 point wide type of spreads. But you still want to try to buy and sell on the mid price. The mid price is what is considered in between the bid and the ask. That is the mid price. You're going to try to get filled on the mid price, and if you can't, you're going to try to get filled at something close to the mid price if you're buying or selling. If you're buying or selling, that is your objective. Also on an option chain that you want to know, and this I'm just talking about super important things that has to be on every option chain, and that's delta. So a number of you understand that delta is one of the four major option Greeks. You have delta, gamma, theta, and vega. Delta is the most important of the four. It's the most important because here at Dorian Trader, we like to say, and it's true, but this is how we teach it, delta measures the two most important things when it comes to options trading, in my opinion. It measures your directional risk and it measures your probability of success at expiration. You need to know both of those at all times. So as for directional risk, delta once again measures how much you will make or lose based on a 1 point move. So I like to start off by explaining the static version of delta that never changes. So for example, if you had 100 shares of any company, but let's say SPY here, then that means you have 100 deltas. Every share that you own equals one delta. So if you had 100 shares, it would equal 100 deltas. And that does not change as long as you have 100 shares. It only changes if you increase the amount of shares you have or decrease the amount of shares you have. It's static. It stays the same into perpetuity until you change the amount of shares. So if you had 100 shares and it went up $1, SPY here, you would make $100. If it went down $1, you would lose $100. You lose or make $1 per every 1 point move, for every dollar move. It's static. Now, with options, it's not static. It's dynamic, meaning it changes. It's always going to change. So if you bought or sold an option at a 40 delta, what that means is initially it's moving 40 cents for every $1 move of the underlining of this stock. If it was a 50 delta, it means it's moving 50 cents for every $1 move. It can be 100 delta or 1, and that would mean it's moving dollar for dollar, $1 for every $1 move. But delta is dynamic, as I mentioned, so delta can go all the way to 1 or 100, or it can go to 0. It's going to do that every single time. It's going to go to 0 or it's going to go to 1. If it's out of the money, this is that out of the money situation you should know. Again, if it's out of the money, it's going to expire 100% of the time with the 0 delta. If it's in the money, it's going to expire with 100 delta 100% of the time. It's never, ever going to stay the same. Delta is dynamic. It's going to change. So what you want to know is what is your risk when you are initiating a trade at a delta level, and then what is your risk throughout the trade? Because it will change. It's going to improve or it's going to worsen. You want to understand this at the highest level you can possibly understand it. Delta as for the probability of success. Let's break this down. I like to go back to this at the money line here, this orange horizontal line. Once again, you can call it brown. This is the ATM. For simplicity purposes, I like to go with the share analogy again. So if I bought 100 shares of SPY right now at the money price, I would have a 50-50 shot of it going up, at least initially. Over time, if you're trading the S&P 500, it's been proven that it's going to go up over time. But any single time frame, it's a 50-50 shot. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. That is your odds at the money. It's a coin flip. Having a coin flipping probability is not bad, right? It's better than having something less than a coin flipping probability. But where the probabilities change dramatically and change dramatically in favor of the option seller, the primary option seller, and that's what we are here at Dorian Trader, is when something is out of the money. As we indicated earlier, out of the money on the call side is in this area. Out of the money on the put side, the OTM, is in this area. When you're dealing with options in this area, this is where you have the odds significantly on your side. If you're the option seller, you're going to have greater than 50-50. You can have as high as 99% chance of winning depending on where you're selling that option at. And if you're the option buyer, you're going to have less than a 50-50 shot of winning at expiration if you're the buyer. If you're buying something in this out of the money area, at expiration, your probability is going to always be less than 50-50. And if you don't understand that, that would be the most frustrating thing for you as a beginner to options when you're buying an option and you don't realize what are your probabilities at expiration. The stock can go in your direction and you can still lose. And you then start thinking the markets are rigged and options suck and you never want to participate or use options again. And that will be to your disservice. Options are amazing, in my opinion, the best way to make monies in these markets. They're the most capital efficient way to trade. You can always create some strategic strategy that allows you to make money very, very efficiently. You want to learn this. Today, we don't have the time to go in this detail for this, but I wanted to kind of point this out as we do on a regular basis to kind of lead you in the right direction to want to learn the basis of options at a super high level. You want to learn the three pillars. You want to learn it and you want to learn it to the point you can teach it. You want to be able to understand options at a super high level.